the desert of the real.
Welcome to Desert of the Real,
Yes.
a movie podcast where we force Jason to watch Marvel movies even though he doesn't like them.
I do
but
not.
every fourth episode is a Jason's choice.
Which is next week.
Our
so
first one is next week.
it is.
Do you know what movie you're going to watch?
I do. It's a horror-ish movie called I See You.
And on
It's,
Netflix?
You hope so, yeah. Yeah.
I See You, the movie, will be next week's film if you
So
want to watch along
It's
with
a
us.
beautiful genre-bending, like surprising, beautiful, well-shot film. Unlike Iron Man 2,
Iron
which
Man
is
2,
today.
the humble beginnings
Yes,
of
the very humble.
the MCU.
Yes.
Your first time watching this. You saw Iron Man before,
Yep.
You
I've
didn't see
never
Hulk?
seen Iron Man 2.
so this is a first watch.
This was, yes.
You actually liked it better than I thought you would. You
I
have
liked it better than the first Iron Man.
That's
so.
nuts. That's bizarre.
That's not to say that I liked it.
You need to explain what you liked better about it, I guess.
Well, okay, so I think why everyone else thinks that this is a less awesome movie is because the bad guy isn't that great. And I mean, if you're going to this movie looking for the great bad guy fight at the end, it does not have it. It's a pretty weak, pretty anticlimactic fight.
I agree. The bad guys. Here's the thing, and we'll get into this. We'll do a summary, but the bad guys weak. But it also has one of the best bad guys.
Yeah, I agree.
Justin Hammer.
Yeah.
He's the best.
But
I
he's
am
not
so sad.
credible.
Well,
Yeah, I love what's his name? Sam Rockwell.
Sam
I
Rockwell.
love him.
I am sad we haven't. He's not in any of the other ones.
Well, there's a reason because he's not credible
That's
as
not true.
a CEO.
Did you
No,
see him dance?
There is no. There is no way that character is the CEO of anything bigger than a snow shack.
So here's the thing that's kind of fun about doing this movie right now. Brand new news, hot off the presses. Like last week, it was announced he might come back for the movie Armored Wars, which is with like, they're making a movie with like Iron Man people, like other ones, like War Machine and stuff. So there's a
Fantastic.
chance he might come back, and that's like new news. And we just watched.
You
Iron
heard
Man
it here,
2.
15th,
Yeah, like not first, maybe second,
maybe.
maybe first.
Anyhow, so we've got Iron Man at the start of this movie. He's, sad, depressed dude, whatever. He turns the company over to Pepper, which I actually liked. I thought that was a good move. And then he just kind of goes through this, deep self-introspection, self-doubt, which I found actually really endearing and actually credible. I thought it was a good chunk. And then, it starts going downhill and he, discovers that his dad was creating a new element, which of course was in this model. And then
He was limited by the science
Right,
of his
limited-
time.
right,
The
whatever.
technology of his time.
But I don't know, that's not credible because literally all the Iron Man does to create the new element is he gets this little triangle that he zaps with a laser.
he made the God particle or
I'm
whatever.
pretty sure that they had a laser in the 1980s when the friggin' anyhow. So he makes this new particle and magically he solves all of his physical problems.
Yeah. You're not wrong it seems like an
And
easy out. Like, I
It
don't know,
was super easy out.
barely an inconvenience.
Yeah. One of the reasons I like this. Oh, wait, and finish the summary. So then he, has this showdown with
Yeah. Do you know his name, the bad guy?
Whiplash,
Whiplash.
right? Yeah. Which could have been awesome, but he fights all these drones, which was the exciting part, and then just the actual battle with Whiplash is I don't know what, 20 seconds long or something.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
It is a letdown.
But
Wait,
the
hold
first,
on.
Oh,
I wanted to say, because it's been a while since I've rewatched this. This has always been lower on my. It boosted up a little bit for me. I have always thought it's super interesting to start with the thing that's keeping you alive is killing you. Like I think that's such a great way to go.
that's why I loved the first half of this movie.
And I think that's a smart choice. And I think the government getting involved, the government wanting to regulate him, is another smart choice.
Right.
Like things that make sense, interesting.
Yep.
You're not all the way wrong. It doesn't ultimately have satisfying conclusions, but it's a smart way to start.
Yeah. Like I said, I thought this was a much stronger movie than the first Iron Man.
That's just bananas, but
Up until,
think
the battle starts.
that's bananas.
Why?
Because Iron Man 1 is so it's so good. It's succinct.
It's got a great first 15 minutes. It's got frickin' an hour and a half of him running into walls and flying to the moon and whatever, and then it's got this battle scene at the end that makes no sense.
I don't know if that's
Okay,
true.
so that compared to Iron Man 2, where we have like an hour and a half of really solid character development, like credible actual problems that he's trying to figure out how to deal with, actual emotional responses. So I can't believe that I'm the one defending the Marvel movie, and I'm not defending it because ultimately it's not a good movie, but I think it's a stronger philosophical and emotional movie than the first Iron Man.
I do want to know, like, on a philosophical lens, like, what you think. Also, I can't believe we haven't brought this up. Desert of the Real. You've never even explained that idea, like where it comes from. It doesn't just come from Matrix. It comes from
other places.
Some other person whose name I don't know.
So maybe we'll do that next episode.
Next episode.
At the start.
Since
I'm running the next episode, and we're watching
good.
a movie that's actually a good movie.
Hold on. I wanted to, because you brought up this movie gives us time for character development in ways the first movie doesn't and can't. But that's also kind of a trademark for the best sequels. Like a great sequel, all the great sequels. We now know our characters, and we now can have opportunity for different types of growth.
Sure.
That's, I think, a trademark for a great sequel.
Which is fine, except they wasted so much time with him flying around doing nothing in the first movie that I feel like they could have done a lot of that in the first movie.
Okay.
But, I mean, we can agree to disagree.
Here's my first note, because I know this bothers you. Iron Man is arrogant.
Yes.
But I can't explain it, but it's a good thing. I think it's good that he's arrogant and makes him a better character, that he's full of himself. Here's the thing. Okay, here's why. I just thought of it. Spider-Man's the best superhero of all time.
Okay.
Because
I had to clear something out of my...
And there are great superheroes, but Spider-Man does what needs to be done because he needs to save the day. Superman will always save the day. Batman will also always save the day. All superheroes do. But Iron Man will save the day, and he's also full of himself, and that just makes him more human. I think that
It makes him more annoying.
makes him annoying, sure, but it also just makes him Iron Man. I like that he's full of himself.
I hate that. He's annoying. I hate him.
I like that part.
like he's leaving this whatever it is, the Senate hearing or whatever, and his closing line is like whatever about like, I will defend America as long as it pleases me, and we all know I'm really great at pleasuring myself.
Yeah.
I'm like,
There's a
what
lot
in the
of good
flip are you
one-liners.
doing? No, that was not.
It's like
That's
classic Iron Man, am I
That's-
right?
No, well, sure.
Actually,
Like that line, I was like, man, you just suck.
see, that's what I mean. I can't. I think that's what makes him good. We need a hero that's full of himself because we have so many that aren't. We have so many of the good.
Okay,
like,
so So what you're saying then is because all of our other heroes are good people and are actually interested in bettering humanity, what we really need is a hero that's only in it for himself and his own glory, and he doesn't really give a crap about everyone else. That's what we really need? That's what you're saying?
I'm not saying he doesn't give a crap about everyone else. He just knows.
Who does he give a crap about?
Okay, that's a good point, because I noticed for the first time, it's been 6 months since the first movie, and it feels like they keep saying we need Iron Man to protect people. It's alluding to something we don't see and we barely hear about, but it seems to be alluding that Iron Man has been protecting people for 6 months, and we don't even see a news clipping of it.
No, there's several news clippings.
Are there?
Yeah,
I must have
right
missed
at
it.
the start.
Because I'm like,
so I mean, he's
Iron
doing
Man's
some
just been
good
doing
stuff, but like the sense is that he's not doing the good stuff to do the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing the good stuff because he thinks it's fun or awesome or whatever. So the danger there of having that approach as a superhero is when it's not fun, he's not going to do it. And so if you become reliant on a superhero that's, what's in it for me, as soon as there's not anything in it for him, he's out, which we saw in this movie. Like, he's just like, yeah, screw it. I'm going to get drunk and blow things up with my super hands.
He
or
was
whatever
dying. He was almost
but, I mean,
dead.
he's just like, screw it. Let's throw something. Throw something else.
He wanted to have something,
Stupid.
just a party to have, because he was about to die.
Yeah. I guess. If you're going out, you might as well ruin your legacy on the way out.
Well, this isn't really playing into it. The third movie kind of touches this.
But this isn't about the third.
But there's a great story arc in the comics, which I'm spacing on the name, when he overcomes his alcoholism. Like, My Inner Demons. It's called My Inner Demons. And that's like his arc in that comic series. Third movie kind of touches on this, but it might be planted here with like that party. Like maybe he overcomes the alcoholism there. Now I'm forgetting details in the later movies.
Well, we're not talking about them yet.
I know, but he has to stoop low before he can rise up. It's classic hero's journey stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of that courtroom scene, did you like how they introduced the new actor for Rhodey? Because it was a different actor. I don't even know his name in the first movie. But who walks in? None other. Oh, Don Cheadle.
What are you talking about? Yeah, Don Cheadle.
Because it's a different actor in the first movie. He walks in.
Oh, I didn't notice.
He's like, Rhodey? And Don Cheadle says, yes, it's me. I'm here. Get over it. Literally telling the audience, like, I'm a
the new
different
guy.
actor. It's the same character. Get over it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a upgrade, to be honest.
Oh, heck yeah.
I think Don Cheadle's
amazing.
I think he's charming. I think he's a lot of fun. I think he's a good choice.
So that was one of the things that I thought was a real strength of this film as opposed to the other one, is just the fantastic cast. We've got all the same people from the first, with the obvious exception of Jeff Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we've got Don Cheadle, we got Sam Rockwell, and
we have
also
Scarlett
have
Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson,
Man.
and then
what was
that one guy with the patch? I don't remember his name in real life, but
patch.
Yeah, the eye patch guy that can't act. Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh my gosh!
He's also in that.
I can't believe.
Not that I care that he's in it.
Oh my gosh!
I think it's worse because he's in it.
No, he's good. He's doing exactly what he needs to do.
He's doing exactly what he always does in every movie that he's ever been in. That's not acting.
The weird retrospect is he is based off of Samuel L. Jackson from the comics, now playing Nick Fury in the movies.
Right.
In fact, there's an Avengers comic where they're talking about who would play you in the movie version. And Nick Fury in the comic says that's not even up to question. It's Mr. Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, really?
And because of that, because Nick Fury used to be a white guy in the comics. Then when I think Ultimate started, he's black, based off Samuel L. Jackson, and now he is Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh.
He's Nick Fury.
That's kind of cool.
Full circle.
I mean, okay, so I guess he has to have his little cameo.
He's doing exactly what he needs to do. Being the guy that, like, Tony Stark, you need to do this. This will help you out, but we can't help you out anymore. House arrest.
He's the butt kicker.
Yeah, exactly.
Which he is in every movie he's in.
I don't know about that.
Like Pulp Fiction, he's the butt kicker, and Hitman's Bodyguard, he's the butt kicker. Like, he's just the mouthy, butt kicking black guy. That's what he does.
And I think there are examples
Snakes
of
on a plane. He's
Snakes on a
just the-
Plane. No one's supposed to actually watch that,
Yeah,
Dr.
well,
Dietz.
I did.
You-
So, but aside from Samuel L. Jackson, I thought the cast, and obviously Robert Downey Jr., thought the cast in this was really strong.
So I need to say, this movie came out, I think it's 2010. I'm officially in high school when this movie came out. And I looked it up because Scarlett Johansson is 25 in this movie.
Okay.
And now I am older than she was making that movie. And now I think every person goes through this, like, oh, that famous person is younger than I am now. And like, when they made that, or when they did the thing, in this case, ScarJo in Iron Man 2, like, she was younger than I am right now. Now she's a bigger movie star. It's just kind of eye-opening.
Yeah.
Because when I saw it, I was a dumb high schooler.
Now you're old.
And now I'm old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, literally my favorite moment of this movie was the Elon Musk cameo.
Yeah. Also,
I thought that was so awesome. I got this
really?
great idea for. Yeah, okay,
An
we'll
electric jet.
we'll get back to you. I thought that was good. So there's a lot. It seems to me that there's a lot more of those moments in this movie than there was in the last one.
Stan Lee, he was Hugh Hefner in
Yeah, I
the first
saw
one,
that.
and now he was the CNN news anchor.
Yeah.
What's his name? Larry
King.
King.
Yeah.
But when this movie came out, didn't know Elon Musk at all, and now of course Elon Musk,
Is Elon Musk.
he bought Twitter for how many billions of dollars? A very derisive figure that many people hate. It's just his legacy is different than this movie.
Yeah.
When he
But
was
I just thought it was super cool that he was in there.
It is cool. I think it's cool too because it's a weird thing in history. It's like seeing Donald Trump in Home Alone 2.
Yeah. Yep.
I think it's weird. The expo, they say the expo is a whole year long. How can you have a tech expo for one whole year?
That was one of the things that I'm like, yeah, that's not
How that works.
That's not going to happen. Like, you're basically painting a big sign on your expo saying, please come rob and or blow up all of these people and all of this stuff. So, which, yeah. So, one of the other things I wanted to just bring up is the one-liners, which I know, having read a lot of comics as a kid, that's just a stand. It's something that the superhero genre sits on. And I thought the one-liners were good here because Don Cheadle is good. And so my favorite one was like when they get done fighting all of the drones, they're fighting all the drones and they're like pew 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 whatever.
Yeah.
And then Iron Man's like, hang on, I got this thing, and it's like this big frickin' laser that.
Yeah.
And Don Cheadle's like, next time I think you should lead with that one. That was a great one-liner.
I wrote a one-liner down too. When Whiplash is attacking at the race, and Pepper's like, oh no, Iron Man says we need better security, and Pepper says, "Are you out of your mind?" And Iron Man goes, "I was attacked." I just died laughing. But here's the downside of that, because there's been a Marvelification with dialogue, and going through it'll be different now because it's already happened. But this was the beginning of movies have this fast, quippy dialogue,
Right.
where it's funny and stands out, because other movies try to emulate that,
Right.
for better or worse. So
Worse.
there's been a Marvelification of dialogue in the industry.
Right, which is unfortunate.
But it does work, though. I think
Sometimes.
Yeah, it does work.
Sometimes it does.
Sometimes it does.
Yeah. So the other, I guess, before we get to all the problems with the end of the movie, Sam Rockwell's character, I really wanted to love it.
Yeah.
I really did, because every time he was on screen, all I could see was Zaphod Beeblebrox.
From Hitchhiker's
Guide to the Galaxy. We're going to Magrathea and whatever. And he's the same character in this movie as he is in that movie, which for me was a detriment because he's supposed to be the CEO of the second biggest, weapons corporation on the planet. Yeah. No. There's no way. But hang on.
You go.
Let me but there's one moment when he's pissed off. He comes into the Russian guy, and he's just mad, and all he can think of to do is he's like, take his bird and take his pillows too, both of them. I just cracked up because that was so like Zaphod Beeblebroxy thing to do. It was perfect. Other than that, though, I was kind of sad that he was just over the top idiot.
Okay, but what about the scene when he's showing War Machine all of the weapons? I love that part. He just is like, here's this weapon. Here's what it can do. It's so fun.
Yeah, I like that part too. Yeah,
this destroys the bunker underneath the bunker. He like sniffing like a cigar. I call it the ex-wife. I love that scene.
I did too.
This is good stuff.
Don Cheadle's just kind of staring at him.
Like no reaction.
No reaction at all.
Do you think people would accept a real Iron Man? Because once again, they're like, we need Iron Man back to protect us. It's been 6 months of him protecting us. Do you think in real life people would accept an Iron Man?
Yeah, of course.
You think so?
I don't think it would be good.
Even if he was a billionaire?
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for Elon Musk to develop the Iron Man suit. He's going to show up and, I'm now the protector of the planet. You're welcome. Let's go to Mars.
It'd be very divisive, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I think the general populace just wants to be safe.
Okay.
I don't think we have enough critical thinking happening in our world that we would reject, an Iron Man showing up. Mm-hmm. And I don't really think that it's that far off.
Yeah.
I could conceive in our lifetimes of something like the Iron Man suit.
We just need some supervillains.
I think, we just need some supervillains. We need some Russian in his basement to find the plans for the arc reactor and develop a whip. And
okay, you texted about that.
I did.
And
so
you don't like that he built it. But it tells you how he did it, though.
Right, but like right before he's doing that, we have this big thing where like the North Koreans tried this,
right?
The Chinese tried, and then there's some random Russian guy in the middle of frickin' Siberia building the arc reactor and making whips out of it. If North Korea couldn't get the plans for the arc reactor,
let me explain things that happened in the movie.
I know how he got it.
His dad helped build the original. He had the original plans. Okay, dear listener, there's something called the suspension of disbelief. What are we as an audience willing to let go so we enjoy the movie? Because at its core, we know we're watching actors acting in front of a camera. It's all make-believe, but the suspension of disbelief...
It has to be credible.
The suspension of disbelief says, we're going to just ignore that. We're going to ignore things so the movie works. Jason's suspension of disbelief, his bar, is much, much higher.
No, I don't think it is.
I think it is.
No, the only... if that had not come directly after the scene where they're showing North Korea's attempts and China's attempts, and if there was maybe some more distance between it, or maybe a little bit more, backstory for why he had it, which we get like an hour later, it would have been better. But
all right,
I don't know. That was the point of the movie where I started shaking my head. So I do go into these movies open-minded.
Did you like?
And I just allow them to convince me that it sucks.
Right. That's an interesting thing. We've talked about this before, where I go into a movie going in blind. It's a perfect movie until it isn't. You go the opposite way.
No, I go in willing to be, I guess it's not the same, but I go in willing to be convinced that this is a great movie.
I see.
and I allow the movie to show me where it sucks.
That's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
there's
So it's
no
kind
one way
of
to-
similar to how you do it, but
yeah.
I'm apparently a little more harsh on Marvel than other
That's
people might be.
fair. These
is okay.
are big movies that should be criticized.
Yes.
Is creativity dead with this one?
I don't know. I mean, there are less things that I object to in this movie than there was in the first one. There are fewer.
This was directed by Jon Favreau. I sometimes felt like he was like, this worked in the first movie. Let's just amplify it in this movie. Like some of the ad-libbing felt like, just do your thing, Robert Downey Jr.
Right.
And it's fun, but sometimes I'm like, okay, this feels like maybe less, the leash is looser on some of these scenes because it worked so well in the first movie.
Right.
Even if you don't think so.
But yeah, I thought this was a much emotionally and intellectually richer movie than the first one, like I already said. So the reason, unless you have other stuff.
Well, did you want to talk about the ending?
Yeah.
Talk about the ending. My thing will come after.
Okay. So my theory as to why this film is less well received by the general populace than the first one is because of the ending. There was actually a chunk, like an hour-long chunk in this movie where I didn't object to anything. I was like, this is pretty solid. And then like near the end of that chunk, I texted you. I'm like, this is a much stronger movie.
Yeah.
And then
The ending.
Whiplash, and all the ending.
I think it's because Whiplash is set up as a fantastic foil, but ultimately with no payoff.
Right, there was nothing.
Yeah, it is disappointing.
Yeah.
That we want our hero and our villain to be, emotionally connected, or we want to connect to them, and
Right.
Whiplash is a letdown in the end.
In the end. Yeah. But I thought he was like you just said, a fantastic setup villain, because he's only there to make, like he says at some point, make Iron Man bleed when the god bleeds.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. Like, he makes him visibly fall from grace by what he's doing. And then I'm not sure where that fell apart, because the same thing, the same issue I had with the Incredible Hulk is a problem here. Like, they're shooting bullets at Iron Man. That's not going to work. The end. But we have, 20 minutes of these drones flying around, shooting ineffectively and blowing up. And I get this, visually, whatever. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, I mean, whatever. But even with that aside, when Whiplash shows up, I was like, okay, now this is going to be
like on the racetrack?
No, in the end.
Oh.
Now this is going to be a showdown.
Yeah.
No, it's not at all. It's like he whips around, 2 or 3 times.
It's not a lot.
Catches the 2 of them. For some reason, the arc reactor doesn't short anything out or cut anything or do literally anything at all to these Iron Man suits. Yeah. And then, how they defeated him, I was just...
But they learned that earlier. They brought it
so
back.
Cute. And
it's a setup and
it
a
was
payoff.
Lame. It was horrible. At that point, I was like, wow, I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah.
So that was the last nail in the coffin for me for Iron Man 2. But that's only, 10 minutes from the end.
Yeah.
So this one got nailed into its coffin much later than the first Iron Man or Incredible Hulk for me.
Because this movie is 2 hours and 4 minutes.
Yeah. It was too long.
And it's about the same length as the first movie.
Yeah.
I
do
packed
a lot more into this one.
I don't know if I agree with that, because it doesn't matter why, but I like the battle when he walks on the racetrack.
The racetrack was awesome.
He's getting the cars. I like the suitcase suit.
Yes.
It shows an evolution of the suit because it takes all these arms to put the suit on Iron Man. But now we have the on-the-go suit.
Yep, I liked that.
And we'll see in later movies the continuing evolution of the suits.
Spoilers.
Oh. No, the suits stay the same. No, it's just they're always, he's always innovative and changing.
But yeah, the like that whole scene was very impressive.
Yeah.
Like when he's cutting the cars in half and they're
Looks cool.
flying, it looks awesome. The only problem I had with that scene is at one point he grabs Robert Downey Jr.'s leg with one of the whips, and
It doesn't burn him.
It doesn't. I mean, it cuts a car in half.
Yeah.
But
There's a little thing called plot armor.
yeah, there's a little thing called bull crap,
Right. Like I was
which got spilled there a little bit, but I was still in it. That
and also when Happy drives the wrong way, I was like, this was the
Yeah,
idea. This is the best.
not-
Yeah.
But visually, the introduction of Whiplash, I thought was amazing.
Yeah, his clothes melt off.
Yeah.
It looks really
Yeah, it
cool.
was very good.
And then he cuts the cars in half and gets ran over by a car. And I think, okay, here's something I like about this movie, because this changes in the later Marvel movies. The conflict lasting more than one day. So far, 3 for 3, it's our hero going through multiple days. Because later on, not to spoil the movies, but conflict's literally like it's a one-day event. The bad guy comes, we have to stop him. And it's by the end, that was like a day. I like it like this, and the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans. It's like multiple days. It makes it just feel like the superheroes like matter more. Like there's more to do, even though like as a movie maybe there's not as much to do, but in the world they did this and it took a couple days or weeks.
Right.
I like that.
I would
That
too.
does change especially in the later Marvel
That's
movies.
unfortunate.
Yeah, we'll get there. Here's my hot take. I think the secret to the Marvel success is this movie. And I was surprised. I'm just as surprised. You have a surprised face on. I didn't expect to ever say that because I was like, this is one of the weaker ones, which it kind of is. But this one, for some reason, just solidified everything. I think without this movie, because the next movie is Thor, then Captain America, then Avengers. If this movie wasn't there, even though in hindsight it's weird that it's Iron Man, a really not great Hulk, and then the sequel to Iron Man. But if this solidified, yep, we're here. We're introducing new people. Black Widow, you know her. She's an Avenger. She's here now. Nick Fury is interacting with our hero more. He's here now. It's I guess, I don't know how to say it, the nail in the coffin that says this is going to stick around.
Which is bizarre to me.
Yeah.
Because all three of these movies are not strong movies. They're not.
Except for the first Iron Man. And I'll stick with that.
No. They're not. I mean, there's so many holes and flaws and shortcomings that it's surprising that, to me, that the Marvel franchise launched.
Yeah.
From this beginning.
Like I said, well, first of all, Disney doesn't own it yet. Not that Disney makes a difference, but they definitely find out what people like. And there is this flow of like, oh, this feels like a Marvel movie. I'm like, even if it's a character I don't even know, I just enjoying how it's presented and what's going on. They figured out some formula. I don't even know if they've cracked that yet. But it's the groundworks. Because this isn't the first superhero sequel. We've had Superman in the 70s and 80s. Batman had sequels. And even in early 2000s, Spider-Man, X-Men. This isn't the best superhero sequel.
Not at all.
But I actually think it's the reason the Marvel Cinematic Universe is successful.
So why?
Because it just established, doubled down, yeah, we're back and we're expanding.
So just
get used to this.
Just because they came back and made it, that solidified it?
And they said we weren't, because the first Iron Man ends with Nick Fury. And he's back. And he brought other heroes or Black Widow with him. And she's one of the Avengers. It just said, you wanted this, or like, we promised this to you, I should say, and here it is. You're going to get more of this. So if you stick around, this is how it's going to work.
I guess that
Here's
makes
a
sense.
new guy, and we're gonna keep seeing them.
So who's our new guy from Iron Man 2 then?
I guess Black Widow.
So does Don Cheadle's character
that's the other one. Yes. He's also a superhero. He's War
he
Machine.
is? Oh, okay.
And we will see them later on. This movie.
Oh.
So it's like, here's your
And
hero.
it's still Don Cheadle?
Yeah, it's Don Cheadle.
Oh, okay.
It's still.
Well, I have something to look forward to.
And Scarlett Johansson. Just kidding, my wife. Anyway,
Scarlett Johansson's a really good actress.
She's Don Cheadle's the other one that I guess proves what I'm trying to say. It's like, here's your hero again, but here are new characters that we will continue to keep seeing.
So we get this sense of a building universe.
And the next movie, we had 2 more origin movies, Thor and Captain America. So it maybe doesn't work, but then the payoff, the trial to see if it would work was Avengers. Now let's get them all in a movie. And then we'll get there.
Then it's unstoppable.
Then it's unstoppable. But this was like the foothold. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
No, I don't really have a foot to respond to that because I haven't seen the rest.
I don't think this is the best sequel ever made. No. I like the first one better. It's not the best superhero sequel ever made. But I guess it made promises.
Yeah.
And it cashes in a check.
That does make sense.
Okay, here's my new bit I'm excited to introduce for the first time. This is the podcast Desert of the Real. I want to ask you about the dessert of the real. Was there any food that you liked or noticed?
What?
Okay, this is where it comes from. He was eating that donut in the donut hole.
Oh, right.
And it's a famous place in California somewhere. But I was like, what if we talked about the food in the movies? The dessert of the real. The food.
Alcohol. That's the food of this movie.
I think the donut in the donut hole. Thank you for our bit, the dessert of the real.
Appreciate Dunkin' Donuts for supporting the dessert of the real.
Like, yeah, we got to keep our eye out from food in these things.
Okay, I'll start watching.
Anyway, is there a philosophical take that you can think of that this movie's trying to say, or how you analyze it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I think that the struggle that we all have between what we want to be and what we are, I think that chunk in this middle of this movie where Iron Man is struggling with that, I think that's fantastic. Like, I loved that part because that's when he stopped being this, prideful, jerky a-hole, and he becomes a human like the rest of us.
Yeah.
He wants to be, but he's not yet. And so I think for me, the main takeaway from this is we need people. Like, we on our own by ourselves are not going to be successful with achieving what we want to achieve. So he needed Pepper Potts. He needed War Machine. He needed, Nick Fury, and he needed, Black Widow. He needed these people in order to make him what he could be, what he wanted to be. So I really loved that.
Yeah.
And then the other piece, like, it's related to that. I think the other piece of this is the question, is it okay to be weak?
Ooh.
Is it okay to show weakness? Because in my classes, one of the things we talk about is the masculinity programming that all men in America receive to a greater or lesser extent. So when we see Iron Man breaking down, when we see him, I don't think he cries, but we see him weak.
Yeah.
That seems to suggest to the audience that, it's okay. Even Iron Man has his moments where he's not sure of himself, where he's weak, where he's fragile, where he just needs somebody to hold him and, and lift him up.
Yeah.
So those, like, that's from that middle hour or so of the movie that I really, really liked.
Yeah.
So what about you?
Well, I know you didn't like the dad thing. When
I
he's,
didn't even mention that.
he's basically Walt Disney.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess kind of talking, or to pile on what you were saying, this masculinity idea, like because I know in the story he lost his parents, but like you get the sense how his dad and him never really connected or something. But I don't know. There's like he left I know it's far-fetched, this new element and stuff, but he was trying to send a message to his child. He wanted his son to realize his own destiny type of thing. Like, hey, here's this thing. I hope you can figure it out. I never did, but be better than I am type of a thing.
Yeah.
Do you like that? I just came up with that with like
I
was
mean,
panicking.
no, that's really good. I mean, that's good. Like you said, I didn't like it. I didn't think it was like I was a crappy dad my entire life, but I'm going to give you this little 30-second video where in this video I'm like, you are and always were my greatest creation. That doesn't make up for, a lifetime of being a crappy dad. I hated that line. I think I put 2 pukey emojis on it when I sent it to you in my notes. Yeah, I did. There's 2 what is and always will be my greatest creation is you. No. You show up. You be a good dad.
It is silly that Nick Fury's like, well, think of something that's never been done before. And Iron Man's like, okay, I will. Done. No, come up with a new element.
Yeah.
All right. And then we have Agent Coulson. He's back from the first.
Yes.
He's
good. I like him.
Yeah, he's fun. And then, like, yeah, S.H.I.E.L.D. is, like, a thing that we are going to be seeing, like, just reestablishing this agency Nick Fury's in charge of.
Yeah.
It's part of it all.
I'm sure.
Here's the thing, though. You actually, on Letterboxd, you are Letterboxd broken staple.
Or not.
That's what you're...
What the heck?
Don't you want followers?
No.
You are rated higher than I am right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you gave it 3. I gave it 2.5. This is right down the middle for me.
Yeah, I gave it. Yeah, it was higher than Iron Man for me. I think I gave Iron Man a 2.
I don't even know that's a bizarre thing to say.
Well, it just depends on what you're coming to
Yeah.
this movie looking for.
Most
people don't come to a superhero movie looking for philosophy and depth of thought, or even credibility. I mean, so the more spectacular and idiotic it is, the more high some people would rate it.
Yeah. I am excited. We have... So, did you know this? The Marvel MCU is split into phases. Or phrases. No, phases. I'm an idiot.
We'll cut that, too.
The first phase is these 3 movies: Thor, Captain America, Avengers.
These are all the origin stories.
Yeah, it's the first phase. Then the next phase is the movies in between the Avengers movies. And then the third phase is everything leading up to Avengers Infinity War. So it's, I guess, in between the Avengers movies.
Wait, so we have these individual movies and then a whole bunch of Avengers movies?
Well, yeah, exactly. There's Avengers. There's Avengers Age of Ultron, and then there's Infinity War, Endgame, kind of like a double feature in a way. I'm glad to see this reaction in real life. Your realization.
Here's a cookie cutter. Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
well, I mean, the good news is next week we're going to be watching...
Yeah, remind us what we're watching.
A movie that I absolutely love called I See You. Yeah, and like I said, it plays with your expectations and forces you to reconsider what's going on in the movie multiple times. And it's a tight package. It's carefully presented, and I feel like there's no no holes that I can, and I've watched it 5 or 6 times. There's no holes, unlike, other movies that we may or may not have podcasted about in the past. So
I just looked it up. It is on Netflix. It's about an hour and a half. Rated R, 2019.
So the rated R is a good moment to point out that all of the movies I watch edited on either VidAngel or Enjoy Movies Your Way. So whatever horrible, nasty crap that made it rated R, I didn't see it. But
So we don't endorse the bad stuff.
I personally think that, movies are not enriched by including sex and gratuitous violence. So
That is a hot take in other corners of the world.
I'm sure there's lots of people.
I am not going to dispute that. I actually tend to agree, but I know people would be you saying that. Some people would react like you insulted their whole family.
Yeah,
But that's fine.
bring it on.
So look forward to that next week, and then we'll get back to our regular scheduled programming. The rest of phase 1, and then another Dietz choice.
Yeah.
to clean the palate, to cleanse his palate,
Yes.
where he doesn't have to watch them. But we'll see if we can. You were kind of positive with this movie.
More so than the first 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's still not a good movie.
Yeah. Well,
There's a lot of holes in it and a lot of problems.
I think if just to restate, if the bad guy was just somehow more satisfying, an infinitely better movie.
Yeah, I probably would agree.
Iron Man 2. What do you think? Do you agree with? Do you like this movie? Do you not like this movie? Where does it fall in your rankings of MCU? I'm talking to the listener now. I don't know if that was obvious.
I picked up on that.
Anyway, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Subscribe, give us 5 stars, nothing lower, please, and
Think creatively. And
think creatively.
And think critically.
Yeah.
Do not allow the movies and the media that you watch to program you. Thanks for listening.
And bye.